It's another episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. We are talking Stanley Cup playoffs as we pay attention to all the teams that did make it. Obviously, the Coyotes didn't, and say, who are we going to cheer for on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes?
Your Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonia. That's Carl Pavlik right beside me on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen every day. We are available everywhere you get your podcast with absolutely zero paywall, free all the time, every day. Let's get started on this episode, Carl. The Stanley Cup playoffs are currently underway. We have already had a couple days under our belt, and quite exciting to start things off because it's nice to be, in some ways, to be a team that's not having to stress over the first the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of stress that comes to it. I do think that just with the season that the Coyotes had, like if they had this many ups and downs and still limped into the playoffs, I would still feel as exhausted as I am now. I'm like, okay, you guys deal with the playoffs. I am going to just sit here and just reflect on the first year of the rebuild being in the books.
Yeah, absolutely. But, because we're hockey fans, I think that still doesn't keep us from trying to cheer for a team anyways.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we want the feeling, right? We want the feeling of being able to say, like, of excitement. We want the thrill. That's what the Stanley Cup playoffs is all about.
Yeah, and I think just in general, like hockey is more fun when you have someone to root for. Like when I'm just like in a bar and there's a game on TV, I'll be like, all right, which team do I like better? Because like that gives me a little bit more stakes. Like I can sit back, I can appreciate a solid game of hockey, but I also can do that while wanting one team to win. Like I don't think those two like things are like mutually exclusive.
Exactly. So what we're going to do on this episode of Locked On Coyotes is we're just going to take a look through the Stanley Cup playoff teams and decide, is this team worth bandwagoning for, and kind of jumping on their bandwagon, cheering for, and all stuff like that, while also both Carl and I will reveal who we personally are cheering for with our own personal reasons.
Yep.
So it should be a fun episode. Let's get right into it. So I say, Carl, because the Coyotes are a Western Conference team, let's start with the Western Conference teams that are in the
Sure.
playoffs. So, Colorado Avalanche. Reason to cheer for the Colorado Avalanche. They got some former Coyotes.
Yep. Big one, Darcy Kemper, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And going along with that, they have contract reasons why the Coyotes would want to root for the Avalanche because of the conditions of the pick with Darcy Kemper. Like that could potentially be worth more.
Yeah, it's more like it's all about positioning. It's like, what do you want? Where do you want to be, earlier in the first round, later in the first round? Like, how do you want it, right? Because that's all it is. Like, it's guaranteed a first round pick, but which one do you get?
Yeah. You absolutely like, and let's say it logically, Colorado Avalanche are a great team. So wanting to go on that bandwagon is understandable. I think it's also the reason why you kind of want to avoid it. Like,
Yep.
because under very few circumstances do you want to jump on the bandwagon for a favorite. It just feels cheap. But, as Coyotes fans, there are legitimate reasons to want to be on there, and you can use that to justify wanting to jump on a favorite bandwagon.
It could very well be. Let's go to number 2, Minnesota Wild.
Oh, Minnesota.
They also have a former Coyote, in
Yes.
Alex Goligoski.
One of my favorite players, had a great season. Loved watching him specifically
Mm-hmm.
on the Minnesota Wild. In general, don't like the Minnesota Wild. And, they are in the same division as the Coyotes. They have beaten the Coyotes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But they somehow didn't earlier this week or last week. So who knows? But I think you would be hard pressed to go from Coyotes to the Wild.
Yeah, it's hard to make a argument either other than former players, or maybe might be a Marc-Andre Fleury fan. I'll give it to you if you are a Marc-Andre Fleury fan, but
Sure. But do you
just
really need to see Marc-Andre Fleury win another cup? I don't think so. He's got a couple.
to stick it to Vegas though, maybe.
If you are wanting to root against the Vegas Golden Knights, they're not even in the playoffs. If you still want to stick it to them, sure, go for the Minnesota Wild. Pure spite. Pure spite. Love it.
All right. We do have to get through some pretty quick because again, there's a lot of teams. St. Louis Blues don't really see much there.
Yeah. I mean, they're a good team that the Coyotes beat last season in a really fun way, but don't really see that as a viable bandwagon to jump on.
All right. Dallas Stars, Scott Wedgewood.
Yeah. The conditions of that pick were that the Stars make the playoffs.
It's already been,
Yeah.
it's already there. So
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to root for a wedgie, go for it.
Nashville Predators.
We're gonna
Yeah,
talk
we'll get
about
to
that
that.
one
We'll get
later.
to that in a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay. Calgary Flames.
Not
Yeah.
really. Former GM has Coyotes connections. Stone is still there, so you got that. But former Pacific Division team, that still feels like a division rival to me.
Edmonton Oilers. Mike Smith.
Smith, yeah. If you are a person like me who likes Mike Smith, then yeah, go for the Oilers.
L.A. Kings.
Absolutely not.
No,
No.
you should never have a reason to cheer for the L.A. Kings.
Nope. I don't care what your reason is.
All right.
You should not be cheering for the Kings.
Maybe if, as a general hockey fan, and put it this way, and only forget past the first round. As a general hockey fan, if you dislike Evander Kane, for the Kings to beat the Oilers, that's it. But
Sure.
nothing past that.
If you want to root against the Oilers, that's fine. Do not root for the Kings. You can just all right. Eastern Conference. Let's go.
All right. So Panthers at the top. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
Toronto Maple Leafs. Arizona Connection. And Austin Matthews.
Yes. Also Michael Bunting.
Michael Bunting too. Yeah.
Ilya Lyubushkin.
Lyubushkin as well. So there's some connection there and a reason to.
Yeah.
But it's also Toronto. So
yeah, it's Toronto. And reason to root for them. They're going to be pissed that people in Arizona are rooting for them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Tampa Bay Lightning. They already won back-to-backs. Come on, let's be real here.
So I kind of want to see him do a three-peat just because there was a very old internet discussion on whether the Blackhawks or the Kings were a dynasty. I said they were not because they haven't won back-to-back and 3 and 4 years. If the Tampa Bay Lightning win 3 back-to-back Stanley Cups, they are officially a dynasty. And it retroactively makes me right in those internet arguments, which is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Jokingly on this next one, Boston Bruins, former Coyote Taylor Hall.
Yeah. If you have fond memories of the Taylor Hall time,
as short as it was.
Yeah. All the potential. Root for the Boston Bruins.
Carolina Hurricanes have multiple former Coyotes in Antti Raanta,
Yep.
in in Tony DeAngelo,
Yep.
in Max Domi.
Yep. Can
One
you name the
more,
other two?
Martinuk.
Martinuk. The other
And
one?
the last one. Oh, God. Why am I blanking on this last one?
It's funny because we talked about how everyone forgets that he's on the Carolina Hurricanes. Derek Stepan.
Oh, crap. Yes, Derek Stepan. I was like, oh, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, multiple Coyotes. So there's a reason to cheer for them. But
Yep.
here's a reason not to is Tony DeAngelo and Max Domi, also, again, former Coyotes, also suck.
Yeah. Yeah. And not exactly a lot of fond memories in Arizona. Like, I don't know too many people who were sad to see them go. Like, Domi did have that phenomenal year in Montreal, and that made that trade for Galchenyuk look bad. But, like, he kind of fell to earth after. He's bounced around a bit. Um, yeah, it's do the good memories you have with Ronta, Stepan, and Martinuk outweigh the bad? I don't know. All kind of evens out for everyone.
I know for sure there are a lot of Coyotes fans out there cheering for the Scorpion King. But
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
New York Rangers.
I have no real
Yeah.
opinion. Not really a team I would jump on the bandwagon. I'm from Western New York, so I'm never gonna care about New York City.
Fair enough. And I'll just go through the last two pretty quick because we're going to get to the next segments. Pittsburgh Penguins and Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
Those aren't really bandwagons I would jump on if I was you. But unless if you have a prior connection to them, go for it.
Yeah, I mean you absolutely can. Again, we're not judging you based off your what you decide. We're just kind of saying like as a Coyotes fan or Coyotes reporter or any Coyotes connection, which way would you go down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh does have Louis Domingue, but like
Yeah, a player that we had to look up and see before this episode began,
yeah.
just to see if anyone from Pittsburgh was with the Coyotes.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, but yeah, there are definitely teams to cheer for Coyotes connections. But what we're gonna do is both Carl and I are gonna go ahead and take our picks from who we think we want to win the Stanley Cup this year. All
And
that,
you can judge us.
and you can judge us. Feel free to judge us. I will stand by my picks, and Carl will probably stand by his as well. But
Sure.
we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it is now impossible for your local auto chain parts store to stock all the parts you need. So why they're often pointless or intimidating questioning is your Audacy an Alex or EX, while the person behind the counter orders the parts in their computer, choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Why choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more from the same parts from a chain store or a car dealership when you can go to Rock Auto, family business, and distribute your servers for over 20 years? Because their prices are reliably low for every customer and have everything you could possibly need, from brake lamps, tail lamps, and motor oil, and even new carpet. So go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. And while you're there, write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So let's now get to our picks of who we want or jumping on the bandwagon for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Carl, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I think you should go first.
Think I should go first. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously you can kind of tell who our teams were based on the teams that we skipped in that first segment. And I'll reveal it to me. I am picking the Florida Panthers. It's a cop out. I'm picking the President's Trophy winning team, but I am doing it for a reason. And it's a reason that a lot of other hockey fans can pick this one. Because if you are have been a hockey fan since the 90s, or since the early 2000s or whatever, you know that Joe Thornton is a major part of the National Hockey League. And Joe
Mhm.
Thornton, over 20 however many years that he's had in the league, still does not have a Stanley Cup. This could potentially be his best and last chance at it.
I mean, certainly his best, because that Florida Panthers team is stacked. Like, definitely his best chance at a cup. I think I first saw it in a Down Goes Brown article, the old guy without a cup as just a major contributing factor for like rooting for a
Mm-hmm.
team in the playoffs. And Joe Thornton, he's a big one. And, I've never heard a word against the guy. He seems really good. He spent quite a bit of time with your hometown team. So it's a good move. And yeah, as you said it, he is someone that if you've been following hockey for a while, you can kind of just get behind it. You want him to win.
Exactly. And let's put it this way. Like, and it's, someone for me, maybe other people might view it the same way. But to see Joe Thornton potentially get his what people were calling Raymond Bourque moment, right? A lot of you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
To have that moment where, like the captain of the Panthers just hands him the cup and just lets him just carry it because freaking he deserves it. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to count all the years he's been in. He's been in the league since '97.
Yeah.
So how many years is that? 24,
24,
five,
25,
25 years.
depending on how you count lockouts.
Let's not count the actual full
Yeah.
lockout. So
Let's not
24
count
years.
seasons. Let's count years. 25
20
years.
yeah. 25 years, 24 seasons in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Like, he's
So
been around for a long time.
absolutely. Absolutely he has. And something that we talked about a lot, Coyotes, Anthony Duclair is a member of the Florida Panthers. I definitely have a lot of fond memories of Anthony Duclair. I think he's done a lot of great work with the Hockey Diversity Alliance. I'd like to see more, but I get the impression that they would also like to do more. But I would, like to see him as a former Coyote do really well. He's having a good season with Florida. It's a stacked team. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good reasons to vote for it. I would personally, again, this is very personal for me. I would try against it just because they are a favorite, and that just feels bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I will acknowledge that most people do not have that apprehension.
Plus, I guess a couple other things to keep in mind, and I will say this is there is uh, a history on President's Trophy winning teams not winning the Stanley Cup.
That is kind of a curse.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's an official curse, but yeah, it doesn't really happen too much. So
I know the Blackhawks did it in 13.
did the Lightning do it?
I think maybe. But it
Mm.
hasn't been done often, very often. Uh, very, very. It's pretty rare for it to happen.
All right. So this article from May 2nd, 2022 on Nova Caps fans says the President's Trophy winner has won the Stanley Cup 22.9% of the time.
So
So
not great.
no.
I mean, not
Like 1 in
absolutely.
5.
Yeah, not absolutely terrible, but not great.
Yeah. Not curse level, but not a favorite. Let's
Yeah.
go with that.
My one last thing I will say though, as a reason for me to cheer on for the Florida Panthers, is they are just another Southern team just to stick it to the Northern people out there who say that hockey doesn't belong in the South.
Can you imagine if the two Florida teams win Stanley Cups before a Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup?
My point
Uh,
exactly.
it's so good. I do love that. Yeah, no. We're gonna get to it in the next segment, but my team is also a Sun Belt team, so I think that is a very like that's a thing that Arizona Coyotes fans can relate to.
Can really get behind. But again, that is my pick. So I am going full on for the Florida Panthers this year. And again, most of that, as I've said, is for my guy Joe Thornton. Let's get to the next one in just a bit. We're gonna talk to Carl and see who he's going for. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
So I have a message from our friends at Built Bar. Summer is coming, and with summer, you're gonna need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on a family vacation. You can throw them in your bag, you can throw them in your kid's backpack. You can make sure that everyone has a bar so you're fueled for your summer adventure. And the best part, they are healthy and delicious. There's no more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you could have both. And it's easy. All you need to do is go to built.com and order now. Most Built Bars only contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to your average candy bar, which has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. You're going to find a Built Bar that you really like. I am always partial to the banana cream pie. What you could do is go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com.
So let's finish things off this episode of Locked On Coyotes by turning the mic over now to Carl as he discusses the team he's rooting for in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes, so I have a terrible affliction where I actively root for teams that aren't really that good. And this goes back a very long time. And one team that kind of joined in that is the Nashville Predators. And I'm not like a major Predators fan, but I always want them to do good. And I have ever since the Coyotes and the Predators faced each other in the second round of the playoffs. It goes that far back. So I am always like rooting for the Predators. Uh, Everything I said about the Colorado Avalanche in the first segment, I know it's true. I know it's the best case scenario if they win. I know that they are probably still going to win, but I am encouraging you to jump on this Nashville Predators bandwagon.
Plus, let's just put it this way. Wouldn't it be by transitive property that the Coyotes are better than all these teams because the Coyotes beat the Predators and the Predators beat all these other teams?
Yeah, the Coyotes beat the Predators in the last game at Gila River Arena. And then if the Predators go on to win the Stanley Cup, basically the Coyotes could have won. And I will argue that not convincingly for the rest of my life.
I love it. I mean, I love the transitive property arguments, right? It
Yeah.
just perfect.
Yeah, it is a complete misunderstanding of how hockey works. And yeah, it's the most fun thing to see anyone take seriously.
I mean, I don't think anyone just takes it seriously. I think we just poke fun of it.
Oh, it's the internet. Someone takes it seriously, and when you see it in the wild, it's fun.
I do feel bad for that person if they do. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. And I mean, the Predators, there's a lot of reasons to root for them. There's not a big former Coyotes connection. Cousins is a former Coyote, not exactly a major part of the lineup. But I mean, do you really want to root against Matt Duchene? Like for anything? Like Matt Duchene is a guy who just seems like he has been just he can never really find his footing. He has a 43 goal, 43 assist, 86-point season. Like that's phenomenal. And then you got Philip Forsberg, 42 and 42 for 84. That's just really fun that is the case. They are currently losing 5-0 after the first period against the Colorado Avalanche as we record this. So it's going to be a short bandwagon probably, but hop on and enjoy the ride.
I mean, I feel bad for the Predators in the sense that they don't have their top goaltender right now. So,
Yeah.
I think Saros kind of makes and breaks the team.
Yeah, which I mean is understandable and also kind of Predators hockey. It's very similar to the Coyotes in that way. Like Pekarene was a lot of what the Coyotes have had, like a goaltender who can steal games. And I will say that just in general, like the Nashville Predators are kind of a spiritual brethren to the Coyotes fans. They have had to deal with relocation rumors by some of the same people, like have
And
been involved.
it eventually pans out for them because, like, when Game 3 happens for the Nashville Predators, watch the fans at Bridgestone Arena. Those guys are freaking crazy.
Yeah. And it is its own like exclusively Nashville thing in a way that, I think Coyotes fans can respect, like the fact that they made it their own and they found success in it after struggling so long. They get like the right arena, the right atmosphere, and magic happens. Like the Coyotes want to be the Predators.
This is their hope of Tempe being approved, right?
Yeah,
Getting eventually that atmosphere, that everyone coming and getting the craziness, building their own unique identity.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But I could definitely understand it. I can definitely understand getting behind the Predators, even if it is for a short period of time.
Absolutely going to be a short period
But
of time, like
but
maybe 5 games.
but
Let's be fair.
if they are at all able to sow chaos in the NHL, why not?
Yeah, and we have seen crazier things happen. Like, would you say that the Tampa Bay Lightning being eliminated by the Columbus Blue Jackets is weirder than the Avalanche being eliminated by the Predators?
I was so gonna bring that up. Like when you
Yeah.
said weird things have happened, I was gonna bring that up, and I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
Absolutely. Like postseason in the NHL, like anything could happen. There's like it's a best of 7 series, but dumb things happen all the time.
Let's not go back to the last reverse sweep though. 'Cause that will just
Yeah, no. No. But yeah, it's I think we both went with teams that are similar in a lot of ways and different in a lot of ways. And, hop on a bandwagon. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about whatever bandwagon you decide to hop on, even if it's a favorite. Like, there's nothing wrong with supporting a team that's good. Like, just
yeah, right. And again,
have
like
fun with it.
you're just doing it for the fun. It's not like like the only issue that I have is if, let's say, myself jumping on the Florida Panthers bandwagon, and then like afterwards, I get like a Florida Panthers Stanley Cup champion shirt or like a Joe Thornton jersey or whatever. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, like I'm only cheering them on for the short period of time, hoping Jumbo gets his ring, gets his cup, and then I'm like, all right, peace out, Florida. Like,
I mean, you could get a Joe Thornton Stanley Cup jersey. You just need to get a bunch of other Joe Thornton like Sharks jerseys, like so you just have a Thornton collection. That alleviates it. Uh, bandwagoning, like it doesn't harm anyone, so it's not bad, but it gets a little bit annoying when people take it too seriously.
yeah.
But I mean, piss people off. I don't care. It's fun. Don't
Yeah,
don't let anyone make you feel ashamed for whatever team you root for in the playoffs. It does not matter in the grand scheme of anything.
no. As long as you don't cheer for a big rival.
Yeah, as long as you don't cheer for the Los Angeles Kings. That's the one rule.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would say Vegas too, but they're not in it.
Yeah, you in Vegas. We got it.
It's not again. I make joke. I make joke. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe. If you're yet to already, we're available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, on Instagram at LockedOnCoyotes, and on Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leonio. Carl Pavlik is Carl Pavlik FFH. Interact with us, ask the question you might have. We might answer them right back, or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. And as a reminder, everyone, don't forget to send in your favorite memories of Gila River Arena. You have until the end of this week, or by Thursday night, because we will be posting all your memories on our Friday episode. So that's, once again, going to be it for today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.